This is Nate Ruess, and you are watching Billboard Top 40. It was something that I was probably thinking about probably about 2 years into the touring process of Some Nights. It's just I was so proud of what we were able to accomplish. As I'd said earlier, it was just something that I didn't think that we were going to. I didn't think it was something that I would ever like to get Grammys, to have #1 songs, all those type of things. So I kind of looked around and thought, like, okay, well, what's a new way to challenge myself? And being in bands for 15 years, I thought, like, oh, well, I'll just go off and make my own album. You know, I'm not totally sure. I haven't talked to anybody. I've like barely talked to my parents in the last year. It's just been such a like long process recording this album and putting it out, getting to come to places like Japan. I really haven't talked to a lot of people. Well, I mean, the way that I've written songs has kind of been the same for about the last 12 years. I'll write in my head, and I'll hear like an entire song, and then I'll start to work on it, start to work on the lyrics, and like, you know, I hear all kinds of instruments and things like that. So usually what I'll do is I'll write most of an album, and then I'll bring it to whoever I'm in a band with at the time, and we'll start kind of building it up from there. So with this, instead of working with bandmates, I worked with producers, and I was very lucky to work with the same producers that I'd worked on Some Nights with. You know, it's interesting because I think for me it's just the freedom of my schedule, being the only person that I'm responsible for. That's the main thing. I think that's what I enjoy the most about it is I mean, I think in the last few years I've really enjoyed being alone and being by myself, and I think being in bands, or for whatever reason, I've never enjoyed time by myself. And being a solo artist, I think, really allows me a lot of time to spend thinking and getting to know me. You know, when you're on the road, when you're in a band, you're on the road constantly. You're constantly together with people, and you don't get much alone time. And this is the first time that I've really had time alone, and I can't speak enough about it. Nothing Without Love was one of the first songs I wrote for the album. I was in the shower, and it's where I think a lot of the songs from this album. I remember, like, some night when I was doing a lot of the writing for Some Nights, I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would just have a song stuck in my head. With this, I would go for a run, and then every morning, and then I would go into the shower, and I think, like, maybe at that point, like, all my endorphins or whatever it is, like, I just felt inspired to write. And a good place to write is in the shower, because no one can hear you. At least where my shower is at, like, it's at a place where no one can hear me. So I started writing that song. It just came out of my mouth, and I had to jump out of the shower and record it into my phone. And I labeled it like, "This is the one." I think the only thing that I'd really written, I'd written the melody, but I hadn't written a lot of the lyrics. The only thing I'd written is "I'm Nothing Without Love," and I thought that it was very positive, and I wanted to make something. I wanted to create something that was positive from the start. You know, a lot of the songs that I write are about kind of getting over it and finding ways to feel good. But with this, I wanted to acknowledge straight away the power of love. So that was great. I had a wonderful time recording it, and then the music video itself was an undertaking. I worked with the same director who had done the Some Nights music video and the Carry On music video. And he was the first person I went to with the song, hoping to direct the video. And usually the way that it works with Anthony is he sends a treatment, I don't read it, I just kind of trust him. And then I find myself doing things like laying in the water and singing the song for about 4 hours. And the water was freezing, and They claim that it was where the movie Titanic was filmed, but I find that very hard to believe. And the end result of the video, like, he's got me dancing, he's got me doing all these crazy things, running across traffic, and I keep wondering, like, how is this going to work? And then every time I see his final videos, I'm always blown away.